Good evening, everyone. It is Wednesday, July 5th, 2023, and I'm calling to order the regular council meeting. Ms. Monroe.
Mayor Donnie Barnard.
Here.
John Merriman.
Here.
Sharon Hendren. Charlie Campbell.
Here.
Nicole Shook.
Here.
Bob Orsini.
Here.
Ryan Green.
Here. If we could please all stand for the invocation by Pastor Andy Fitzpatrick from the Johnstown Independent Baptist Church.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
Let's bow our heads in a word of prayer. Father, we have so much to be thankful for. One, for this country we live in. Just having celebrated July 4th, it reminds us that we are so incredibly blessed to have the rights and freedoms that we have, which are foreign to many other places and peoples around the world. So, Lord, we're thankful for this country and the freedoms that we enjoy. And we're also thankful for this small town, which doesn't seem like it's going to be small for much longer. I'm thankful that you led my family to Johnstown exactly 4 years ago to this day to be a part of this wonderful community. And there's so many other things that I could express thankfulness for, but there's nothing comparable to what Jesus accomplished on the cross for our sins. That through his sacrifice, we can have all our sins forgiven and have eternal life. There's nothing on earth that can generate a greater thankfulness in our hearts than the person and work of Jesus Christ. And nothing more important. I'm sure that important matters will be discussed tonight at this meeting, but nothing is more important than the truth of the gospel, which has the power to save souls from the eternal consequences of sin. And I pray for these leaders tonight who have been placed here by you to uphold what is good. Guide them, direct them, and help them see and know their need for Christ. It's in your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight for the day after the 4th of July. Our first item is action on minutes from April 18th, 2023. Are there any questions or comments on those minutes? If not, do we have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Charlie Campbell.
Yes.
Nicole Shook.
Yes.
Bob Orsini.
Yes.
John Merriman.
Yes.
Mayor Barnard.
Yes.
Ryan Green.
Yes.
Next, we have citizens' comments on matters not on the agenda. I have one tonight. Ms. Terry Fetters, if you'd like to please stand.
Do I need to come up?
Yes, ma'am, if you would. That way they can hear you on the microphone. Reminder, you have 3 minutes.
Oh, it won't take that long. I just have a question. I know that for the Johnstown Greater Johnstown, I need to say it right, the Greater Johnstown Parks, Eddie Baldwin just finished his 2-year term, and I wanted to know if you guys were the ones that appointed him, because I know the city council and school board, and I think JYAA, if I'm not mistaken, appointed someone. But anyway, I would just like for you guys to consider reappointing him, because his 2-year term is up, if you were the ones that.
We have to look. Teresa, you sent me a schedule. I don't remember seeing his name. I thought the next one up was Jeff Barr.
Eddie Baldwin, yeah.
So the school board does a couple, we do a couple.
Yeah. Keith and
Jeff or ours?
I thought
Keith was
the
school board.
Okay,
Jeff
is ours.
Keith and Ed were the school.
School board?
I'm gonna have to double check for sure.
Okay.
We will look into that.
School board.
We were Jeff, I think we were Jeff R. and
Daryl
There's
Warnett.
Daryl Warnett.
But I think he was JYAA.
That's
I'm gonna have.
We'll look into it and let you know.
Okay,
Thank you, ma'am.
That was my only question.
Okay, that's all the speaker slips I have. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak tonight that didn't fill out a speaker slip? Okay. Council committee reports. Planning and zoning met June 27th. Their next one is July 11th at 6:30 in council chambers. Mr. Green, if you'd like to give a recap.
The bulk of our time was spent discussing the resolution that you'll see later on regarding Concord East.
Okay. Design Review Board met June 27th. The next is July 11th. Do you have anything from that one that you'd like to report?
I'm not on that one. That's
I know,
my
but there's
wife.
no one else up here. I didn't know. You have something?
I try to keep some separation on that one.
There was 4 applications. One was 208 South Main. It was an approval for a garage addition and some siding for the whole house. That was approved. Application for an electronic sign in front of the Methodist Church was tabled for some minor tweaks, but then later approved.
It was approved?
It was.
Okay.
It was approved? I thought it was tabled. The electronic sign?
Maybe it did stay tabled.
I don't know.
I thought it was approved because I think it was ultimately approved. They had a couple of
It was a conditional.
color changes.
It was conditional about.
Conditionally approved.
About,
The plug, the safety plug.
Yeah, outside, that it being
They
fused.
wanted a brick base,
Okay.
which they agreed to. Evolution Fitness, a new construction over on Clark Drive was approved. Certificate of appropriateness for, what's that?
It's a subway building.
The Subway building, that was approved for a new awning and some stonework.
What color are they going with?
Black awning and
Nice.
like a taupe colored stone.
Okay.
And then an application was tabled for the barn building, the archery building. the
Yes.
Barn, I don't know the address, but they wanted to do the siding in phases, which the board was not in favor of, so they're gonna check with the applicant and see if they're willing, all or nothing.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you. Safety and Service was scheduled for tonight. It was canceled. Their next one will be August 1st at 5 PM in the Administrative Conference Room. The Finance Special Meeting for tonight was canceled. Our next is going to be July 18th at 5 PM in the Council Chambers. Park and Rec is scheduled to meet next week at 1 PM in the Administrative Conference Room. Are there any other committees that need to meet, that need to be on the schedule? Okay. Director reports. I guess we will start with sewer.
For the month of June, we treated a total of 16.2 million gallons of wastewater. Our plant efficiency charts are all looking great, 99% across the board. Under work highlights, let's jump down to local limits study. Give you a little background on this. Armstrong Ceilings here in town is currently going through an expansion. They will be adding a wastewater pretreatment facility due to a powder coating process that they'll be doing on site. So they'll have some residual metals that need to be removed before they enter into our city sewer. And since Armstrong will be Johnstown's first categorical industrial user, a local limit study is required to establish a baseline of limits to see if our current plant will even be able to handle their waste. So this study will then be used as reference in the future for any new industry coming into town.
What happens if we can't?
If we can't,
Yes. Does that mean their upgrade is canceled?
If you
Well-
don't mind jumping in, their pre-treatment would have to be very much elevated before it comes into our system, or they could not discharge.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, go ahead.
how are we gonna monitor what we get from their process outbound?
they will have an indirect discharge permit from the EPA. So they will have somebody on site
That's monitoring their outbounds?
Yes, what they discharge to us. And then periodically, we'll probably check on them, make sure everything within
We'll
limits.
have the EPA oversight, we'll let them report.
Yes. So we recently just finished up sample collection this past week. We sampled for 5 days straight at 6 different sample locations. Collected over 500 different samples, just for parameters. So it was an intense week and we're glad it is over. Next page there, bulk sewer and water. Septic receiving station seen around 1.4 million gallons, and then the bulk water station, we sold around 853,000 gallons this month. Any more questions?
Does June seem to be the highest month for bulk water sales?
Yeah, it was last year and this year.
Okay.
Gotta fill those pools.
Yes.
I
Okay.
have For the 54 shut-offs, how many do you get back on?
It's a water plant, but
No, yeah, well,
Yeah, I'll jump into those.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want to go ahead and do water then?
Yeah, if you'd like me to do it right now. Yeah, Terry Nichols on vacation this week, so I'm going to step in and cover him. The month of June, we produced just slightly over 20 million gallons for the month. The 54 shut-offs, again, was another highlight. That was an awfully large month. We normally sit around 30 or 35. I'm not sure what caused the spike. We didn't enjoy it, but we generally have those all back on within a 24-hour period.
Okay.
Probably 80 to 90% we get turned on the same day, and then there'll be 5 or 6 that don't get paid that day that we'll get the next day. Water department had one employee with an hour and a half of training, and then item number 9, which is really important, we submitted our 2022 CCR. We always have to do a consumer confidence report for the previous year, so that should be on our website at this time, and the EPA has been notified that it is on the website. They'll check it to make sure we've met all parameters for getting that out. Item number 11, we had a company give us an ultrasonic flow meter to use, to experiment with. We weren't satisfied with its operation because there are too many requirements on straight piping to make the ultrasonic work. You have to have a lay length of straight pipe, so we're hunting for something maybe a little different that will be more user-friendly, that we can use in more spaces. Item number 12, July 20,
June?
be June, not July. I'll talk to Terry about that, but June 27th, we had a water plant update on the new direction we're taking for the upgrades at the plant, and so we're gonna get started on that very soon. If you go to the daily plant test, everything within parameter, all looks good. Averages are where they're supposed to be. And the last page is the chart. You can see we're a little less than June of last year. We did get 2 repairs done, leaks that we were able to find that were averaging about 50,000 gallons a day, so those are no longer on the system. So that could be part of why our usage is down, but more than likely, that week of rain that we got, nonstop rain and cooler temperature, is why that is down. Any questions on the water report?
Go ahead.
I just want to have, Trish, can you make that change to the minutes from July to June? Just the correction, that way we're correct next time.
Any other questions for Mr. Liggett? Okay. Just for the record, Councilman Merriman had to leave for a family emergency. I do not anticipate him back tonight, so. Did you want to go to the street department also?
Yeah, I'll jump in there. Dan notified me he had a emergency at his home as well. So I told him I would go through this quickly. I just found out about this. So anyway, if we jump into his miscellaneous work, the highlights that I saw on there is our right-of-way mowing. We're keeping up with that. They had all the barricades set up for what I view as a very successful Fireman's Festival. The parade went off well. Down under street maintenance, of course, the sweeping is continuing weekly, as it will clear up until we have heavy snow, which I hope isn't for a while. 5-ton of hot mix was put down, and curb repair continues. And in the month of June, we worked on Minute Court, Kyber Run, and Tyler Station. The street department, with the large number, assisted with shut-offs more than normal, because we had a lot more to do. And down at the parks, they power washed all the shelter houses and tables. And really just basic maintenance and truck maintenance for the street department. Any questions I can help you with there?
Mr. Mayor?
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just want to thank you for the street guys who cleaned up the truck for the parade.
Yes.
They did one heck of a job.
Yes.
I mean, those
Really
wheels
good.
shined.
They do a nice job.
It was
That-
nice. So thank you very much.
And I complimented them as well,
Mm-hmm.
because they did a nice job getting that put together
Yes, they
for you
did.
folks.
Yes, thank you.
One item that was brought to my attention this week with the completion of Jersey Street. With the completion of Jersey Street and the houses that are on Jersey Street where the construction was, does the city have any responsibility to, and this is just a question, to power wash or clean those homes that were just totally ransacked with all the dust and dirt in that area?
The answer to that is no. We never have on any other street we've ever worked on. I did get one call that, well, I've power washed my house 3 times. Well, we're cutting, we're digging. I would have waited to power wash until the project was done. So the only thing I would say, if council wishes to entertain that, I would tell you that that would be a fairly hefty expense, and it's not something we've ever done on any other street
I
rehab.
wanted to check to see if it was something that's been
Yes.
done in the past.
No. We do obviously take care of things as making driveways match. We had to add steps because the road was lowered. And in that, my director's report, there still has to be the seeding and that type of cleanup done. But as far as power washing, no, if we would be power washing every house, 3 streets, all the way around,
Okay.
if we got into that. But again, that's a council decision.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anybody else have questions for Mr. Liggett? Okay, I think, or is the service director report now.
Yeah, basically, this is just an update of projects. The new water tower, basically, we're down to the outside, trying to get grass to grow and things leveled out. The tower itself is in 100% operation, been cleaned out. Item 2, water plant update. Again, just echoing on what Terry had a meeting with Jacobs to discuss the new work parameters and the type of equipment we're gonna need as we have scaled down or upgrade. We're pinpointing more rehab than new products. Wastewater plant update. We also had a meeting with Jacobs, who is now taken over that project, and discussing the upgrades and the possibilities of phasing in the upgrades. We can either do it all at once, or we can do it in 2 or 3 phases, depending on how council wants to attack that upgrade and how quickly they will need each phase versus just installing it all at once. Of course, the phasing will cost more because you have mobilization in, mobilization out, so you folks will have to weigh that versus just coming in and getting it done at one time. Dropping down now to the East Jersey, all asphalt work is completed, concrete work is completed. What we have left to do is finish yard grading and seeding, and just final cleanup on the edges. If you have been down there or down that way, the sidewalks and road, I think, looks very good. I think it was a long project, but I think we got what we wanted out of the end of it. Item number 5, the Pulte Housing Development. We did finally get a meeting set up. A lot of the wastewater repairs have been done, and I'll look over here to Rick. You are going to review the wastewater punch list items that they said were mostly complete.
I just have to do one final walkthrough on that.
Okay, and that's done, but the water and road repairs should begin soon on that. Now, once those 3 items are completed, the wastewater, water, and road repairs, then they will be coming in asking the city to accept phase 1 of that project. Now, what does that mean? Their 1-year warranty will begin, and we will also be doing the plowing and salting in that section where we have not been in the past because the roads haven't been given over to us. And they want to get that done before winter this year, because they want the city to take it over. Yes, sir.
Phase 1's the front.
Yeah, it's at first, it's Bigelow, the first section of roads that actually people have been living in now for close to 3 years. So, as soon as they get this punch list done, that section we will take over to work on.
What was the delay in all of that? Was it just getting a meeting set up with them?
They just weren't getting the punch list work done. They were busy building new houses, and so I made contact and said, every year we get complaints from the residents
Oh, yeah.
that we're not plowing, the city is not plowing and salting, and I said, if you want to prevent that from happening another year, you need to go in and get this punch list work done. Once it's completed, council can accept the roads, the 1-year warranty will start, because every curb that cracks right now, or somebody backs over it, is theirs to repair. And it will be theirs to repair through the 1-year warranty. Once the warranty is out, then it's the city's to maintain. So it's to their advantage to get this punch list done, but they've been, I think they're just too busy building new houses to worry about taking care of this punch list.
One other question, how many phases are in that section?
Oh my gosh.
There are 2 sections, but there's like 6 total phases.
Yeah, there's,
Of all the phases, are they at least started on the 6th phase, or that's not even started?
yeah,
They're working on the last phase, right? Okay.
But when it went from, was it Rhonda? Whoever-
Syntex, it was
Who was
Syntex.
there first to
Dominion.
Pulte.
Oh, was it Dominion?
Dominion was first
Yeah.
before they went out, yeah.
They changed the
Pulte and
phase.
Centex are the same company.
Yeah, but it was before then. Was it Dominion?
Dominion.
Where we bought it from? That's why there was a little work problem with the light out at the end of Bigelow. Dominion had their phases set up differently than Pulte. Pulte added multiple phases, smaller grouping, multiple phases. So, in any event, I think we're heading towards the end.
Anybody else have any questions for Mr. Liggett? I have one. Are you at liberty to discuss the conversation today with the cement company on the Bell stores? I didn't know if there was anything
Yes,
to talk
I
about.
actually met with a second contractor today. He just, as I was walking in the building, sent an estimate.
Okay.
I forwarded that to Sean to review as well. He's the one that called me and gave me Paul's, Maximum is this company's name, I believe, number to call, and that's who I met down there.
I didn't know if it was Bell Stores that was calling, as a representative from Bell Stores, or if it was just someone getting a
No,
quote.
no,
so-
no. This is somebody else the city was looking at to try to get that done before the paving on State Route
Okay.
62 comes through. It is my belief in talking with Sean that we're still going to try to recoup these dollars from Bell Store. But we can't really wait if we want it in there before the paving's done.
Right.
With that being said about the Bell store, was there any contact? Did they return any emails or phone calls at this point?
I think they're working more directly with Sean, but
Okay.
So we'll ask him.
what I've been told at this point is Bell Store has not made any indication that they were going to move on it, so,
Okay. Okay, thank you, Jack.
all right.
Teresa, in the future, can you move the city manager report to the second meeting of the month? That way it's with the police. So I think we talked about that last time, having those together.
Yes, I will.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is tabled legislation. I would like to make a motion that we bring this off the table and we can act on it then to vote on it, either vote on it or not to make a motion, but to take this off the table for now since it's going to be the end of the year before we can figure out the budget and tax situation, what the current current salary range is going to be. So I'd like to make a motion that we untable ordinance 17-2022.
I'll second.
So now,
Let me take a roll call real quick.
sorry.
Charlie Campbell,
Yes.
Nicole Shook,
Yes.
Bob Orsini,
Yes.
John Merriman,
Yes.
Jeff Barnard,
Yes.
Brian Green.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any motion to move forward with ordinance 17-2022 at this time? Hearing none, we can remove it now, Teresa?
Well, if you take it off the table,
And then there was no action taken on it.
I guess it dies on the vine, sure.
Okay.
Eyes on the vine.
Okay, thank you, guys. Public hearings on legislation. The first is ordinance 11-2023, an ordinance amending ordinance 22-2022, the annual appropriation ordinance of the City of Johnstown to approve necessary changes of appropriations. The first reading of this occurred June 20th, 2023. Mr. Delaney, did you want to explain this one more time?
Sure. These are appropriations that we have funds available to appropriate, which weren't in the budget. The first 1.4 million is the OWDA loan, the funds that we need to start paying for the water expansion and pull those funds out. So that's the appropriation for that. And then also Verizon, we paid for the gate, I believe, on that street to secure that area, and they were reimbursing the city for that. So it's a washing funds that we need to appropriate for the funds coming in.
Just a slight clarification. They actually paid the money to us up front. Once we get it appropriated, then we will contract to have a gate,
Okay.
automatic gate put in.
Okay. Does council have any questions or comments on this ordinance?
I do.
Yes, sir.
We get 1.4 million. When do we have to start paying it back, or was it already?
We need to request that, we request those funds upon their invoice. We actually received 2 invoices from Jacobs, who actually started a water expansion plant design. And now we have to request that money from OWDA to pay Jacobs. Once we get those funds, then we'll be required to make debt service. And I would anticipate that'll be next year on those funds that we start pulling.
So we wouldn't start paying until next year on the debt service? Is it a interest-free debt service, or is it?
I believe it is almost like an interest-free.
Okay.
It's very low. If I can jump in, the actual thought at the beginning of this, which of course Dave's coming in real late on this, is that 1.4 million was for design. And before we actually start paying on that, we should have to get a construction loan to upgrade the plant. And then that was gonna be rolled into the construction loan. So the thought was we'd be able to delay those paybacks for probably 2 years, because if we roll that loan into the construction loan, then we wouldn't start till we start. Now, I don't know if that's still the plan, but that was the original plan.
So budgeting for it wouldn't really occur then for 2 more years? Is that what you're saying?
If it gets rolled into
If
the
it gets rolled into
construction
the same
line.
thing? Okay. Thank you, appreciate it.
Anyone else with council with questions? Do we have any citizen comments on this one? Hearing none, do I have a motion on this ordinance?
Move as written?
I'll second.
Second.
Paul Schuck,
Yes.
Bob Orsini,
Yes.
Ron Merriman,
Yes.
Mayor Barnard,
Yes.
Ryan Green,
Yes.
Charlie Campbell.
Yes.
Okay. One of the big ones for tonight. Ordinance 12-2023, the first reading of this occurred on June 20th, 23. Ordinance 12-2023 is an ordinance amending sections 191-012B, 191-04, 191-051, and 191-07 of the codified ordinances of the City of Johnstown to increase the income tax rate to 2.25% per year and to enact a credit for taxes paid to other municipalities in the amount of 75% per year up to the amount of tax assessed by the city. To place this amendment before the electors in the November of 2023. So a little background on this. Johnstown has had the same tax rate of 1%. Louis and I are trying to figure out that date. It's 40-plus years, could be 50 years, that we've had 1%, or that the state of Ohio allowed it to be 1%. The city council, or the finance committee, has been looking at this, researching this for probably 8-9 months at this point to try to figure out the best recourse with it. Currently, the income tax rate in Johnstown is 1%, which no credit. We're looking at increasing it to 2.25 with a 75% tax credit. The reason for this is at this point, our general fund, our carryovers have been decimated over the years. Our carryovers are very low. We need to increase those. We need to make investments in infrastructure that is necessary for growing our community. provide for park and green space investments, to make investments to enhance areas of Johnstown, and especially with our historic area, and create more opportunities for artistic and cultural events for families to enjoy. This would bring in almost $2 million per year after 3 years. This is definitely needed for the city. Currently, the city brings in the general fund is a total of $2.7 million that the city operates on for police, city, or street, and administrative offices. 2.7 is a lot if I had it, but for the city to do what we do, $2.7 million is not a lot. So that is why we are asking for this increase and for it to go to the voters. Does council have any questions on this?
I don't have a question, Mr. Mayor, but I have
Yes, sir.
an ad. We didn't come to these figures by pulling numbers from the air. We engaged Rita. We looked at the impact on citizens. We looked at the impact on finances, and it really boiled down to keeping up services. We continue to add roads. The cost of materials for everything continues to grow, and the taxation has to grow a little bit with it. This will also capture taxation or tax revenue from businesses as they come to town in a significant portion. So that's a big driver too. So as the businesses come in, they can start participating with the revenue demands of the town at a higher level than they would be otherwise. There was a lot of conversation, there was a lot of debate and disagreement along the way, but through conversation, discussion, and a compromise, we came to these figures. So to maintain services and grow services, this ordinance is a must. Or we have to start looking at what we're not going to do moving forward, in addition to what is not getting done today that needs done.
So for an example of what Mr. Orsini is saying, is we took on no new debt with street projects this year. When we looked at the budget for 2023, we looked at the debt we have, what it takes to service that debt, street projects. Jersey Street had been already budgeted for in a prior year, so that wasn't a consideration for us. But if you notice, there's been no other street projects because we did not want to increase our debt any further until we get a grasp of what we have and what we'll have going further. So
I can add a little color to that too, Donnie. The street investments we've made years ago, when we went through, what was it, 16, 17, Jack?
Yes.
We're at the point now where we have to resurface, maintain, maintenance those roadways, or that investment will then begin to deteriorate. The problems with road are is if you don't keep them up, the cost goes up exponentially every year that they deteriorate from their maintainable, so one of those words, condition. So that was a factor in some of our conversation as well, is that we know some roads need completely replaced, but the longer we wait, every road will then need to be replaced and can't be resurfaced and maintained over time. And that cost, I mean, we're talking a 10 multiplier.
okay. Does citizens have comments on this or any questions they would like to ask? None? Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion from council to move this forward?
I'll make a motion as written.
I'll second.
Bob Orsini,
Yes.
John Merriman.
Yes.
Ed Barnard,
Yes.
Ryan Green,
Yes.
Charlie Campbell,
Yes.
Nicole Shook.
Yes.
Okay. So that will go to the ballot in November of this year. The city will be giving out education material to help educate voters on what this will look like for where they work, where they don't work. For example, retirees, this will not affect them at all unless they have an outside job making money, so.
You don't spend the money till next year.
Exactly.
Hey, Donnie?
Yes, sir.
Is it simply a thing, yes for it or no against it? Is that how it works?
It should be, yes.
It's
We'll have
in
to
there.
see how
It-
it's,
It should be in there how it's supposed to
Language,
look.
right?
I think it's in the resolution next.
Right.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that that's what it was.
It's not multiple.
Yeah, it's in the resolution.
Yep.
So the next item is Resolution 2023-17. It's a resolution providing for the submission to the electors of the city of Johnstown at the general election to be held on November 7th, 2023, an ordinance to amend sections 191-012B, 191.04, 191.051, and 191.07 to increase the city income tax rate from the current rate of 1% to a rate of 2.25% for the purposes of public safety, economic development, operations efficiencies, and capital improvements and related costs, and to increase the credit for taxes paid to another municipality to 75% from 0%. One of the most important parts of that is putting that credit in. The city had a credit for a long time. Council had the right to remove that credit because it did not go to the voters. We are leaving this right to the voters so that council can never take that credit away unless the voters say they can. So that is why the credit is in there. And this resolution is to advise the Licking County Board of Elections on what we want. Correct, Teresa?
Correct.
Do we have any comment, questions? Any from the citizens?
Yes, but it's I should.
You can come up and
You
talk.
can.
You can come up.
Yeah, for this part.
The only thing I'd say, in 2000,
Louis, could you, just so everyone can hear at home?
Louis, Maine, 132 North Main Street.
We waived the address requirement.
Pardon me?
We waived the address requirement.
I've got a number of comments, but the one I'm going to bring up is in last year, 2022, the income tax brought in $2,600,000. That's going to bring in over $5 million too, just at 200%. Now, you're talking about things you want to do. This city just passed a very large fire income tax. That's coming from it. The school just passed 2 other levies that's coming on. I think it's going to be a slim to no chance at all they'll pass.
No,
Thank you.
just to clarify, the school was a renew, the school was
I
renewed.
asked a question, make talk to you.
He was
Okay,
joking.
I'm teasing him.
Okay, the school was a renewal, so it's not
Pardon
a,
me?
the school was a renewal,
But the renewal is applied to a different tax base.
Yes.
yes,
So it's an increase.
depending on which base you're in.
They're going to be increasing, not the city, but a different area.
That's still part of Monroe Township School
Right.
District.
Right.
Yeah, and the fire levy is also a township, not a city.
These are all,
It hits every city resident.
yes, it does.
That is true.
Now, what we're saying, our tax increase will not hit you and your wife.
Yes, it will.
How?
How?
Because if I have any W-2 earnings, I've got to pay 2.5% or
I didn't know you had W-2 earnings. I thought you were,
2.33%, isn't it? No, quarter.
I was assuming you didn't have W-2 earnings. But for most retirees who do not have W-2 earnings, who are living on Social Security,
That's not the issue. Who does it apply to? Anybody that has earned income.
right. Yes.
So, yes, it is going to hit me.
But the point is on this tax increase, if we don't, we're going to have to cut services to the city because the money's not there.
Well,
Costs are going up and our income tax has been the same for 50 years.
that's where we have a difference of opinion, and things that you're talking about are niceties, not necessities.
Thank you
They
for your
actually
time.
are necessities. Maintaining roads is a necessity here.
I'm sorry.
Roads are a necessity. Maintaining those roads are a necessity.
The
I mean-
so doubling the tax, go from 2,600,000 to 5,200,000,
It won't be that because,
is what you want. It's not necessity, it's nicety that you want.
okay, thank you, Louis. I always appreciate you being here and bringing stuff up for us. The next,
We're done.
oh, I'm sorry.
Those public comment.
We're done with public comment.
I'll-
Unless anybody else has comment.
I will make a motion to approve it as written.
Do I have a second?
Absolutely.
Charlie, you second it?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
All right, John Merriman,
Yes.
Mayor Barnard,
Yes.
Ryan Green,
Yes.
Charlie Campbell,
Yes.
Nicole Shuck.
Yes.
Bob Orsini.
Yes.
Okay, the next is a fun one. This is Resolution 2023-18. It's a resolution as required by ORC 709-023C, setting forth municipal services that will be provided to the 285.93 plus acres of land in Monroe Township, Licking County, Ohio, if annexed to the city of Johnstown, Ohio. So, as most of you probably already know, there was a request for annexation into the city of Johnstown. The city of Johnstown is looking at this as we need to capitalize on opportunities and not let this land go to other cities that will receive the revenue. And we know we're not the only area that these companies are looking at investing, so we want to capitalize on that. Does anyone on council have any other comments on this or questions? Does the citizens have any comments or questions? Come on up, sir.
I do. So, my name's Alan Mitchell.
Yes,
Although I
sir.
don't live in the city, I do have some property that's in the city.
Yes, sir.
So I own 67 acres that's in the city limits. And in the past, we've been told that, that there's no water and sewage for the property that we currently own within the city. And also the Randy Johnson property that's next to us, he's been told that there's no water and sewage available for his property, which is 60 acres. So you have 127 acres that's currently within the city limits that has in the past been told that there's no water and sewage available for that property. So my question to you is what criteria does the city council or the city use in order to determine what properties that the city
If-
gets water and sewage?
So if I may say, and Jack, you can- if you're in the city, you have the right to get water and sewer. There, we have water and sewer.
We've been told no.
Where's your property
By
at?
who?
It's on the other side of,
By Sean, well,
By Sean.
it's on the
Where-
other side of Concord East, north of it.
Yeah, it's up Sportsman's
So
Club.
has
Off
the
Sportsman's
attorney for
Club.
the Johnson family, he's been told the same thing, at least that's what he's told me.
They've been told it's not available, or it's not available, or you have to pay for it to get there.
We've been
well-
told it's not available even if we pay for it.
That's not true.
I don't want
You
to
got-
speak for
you got that
Sean,
in writing?
he's not here, but.
Can I,
We can-
I will talk to you afterwards. We will clarify that this week for you.
Okay, well, appreciate it.
But your property is in
They
the
should be
city.
able to. There will be a cost to
Yeah,
obviously
yeah,
tap
cost doesn't
in,
matter,
but yeah.
We own
But there
various
should,
properties.
you should
We-
be available,
We originally bought it,
yes.
it's in the industrial park. I actually own other industrial properties within Vision County. I own multiple factories.
Mm-hmm.
So originally, we bought it as a place to put a factory within Johnstown, right? And we looked at the cost of running water out there.
Well, Alan, we actually, the Johnson property, it's been 2 years ago now, we ran water and sewer
Right to the edge.
right at the edge.
That's
Because
correct.
we were told they didn't want water and sewer on into the property.
Well, that's not their current standing, or at least that's what, not their attorney.
So what we can tell you is we actually ran the water, 12-inch main, and I think it's a 10-inch sewer right to the edge of that property. So when you are ready, not you, but the Johnsons are ready, it's right there to grab it and run it right on into
Okay,
the
well,
property.
I'll talk to their attorney.
We will clarify that this week. But any place in the city of Johnstown has the right, and we have the water to be able to service them.
Okay, that's great, then, that's new information. Thanks a lot, appreciate it. I was confused.
Yep,
so-
nope. Now, if you live outside the city, that's a whole different discussion.
No, it's in the city.
Yep.
67 acres.
Okay. Any other citizens' comments on this? Okay. I'll make the motion that we move forward with Resolution 2023-18 as it's written.
Second.
Mayor Barnard.
Yes.
Brian Green.
Yes.
Kelly Campbell.
Yes,
Did you say yes?
yes, I did.
Nicole Shug.
Yes.
Bob Orsini.
Yes.
John Merriman.
Yes.
Okay. The next is Resolution 2023-19, a resolution to approve the final development plan for Concord Crossing East Phase 4. Mr. Green, I'll leave this one to you to explain.
All right, so yes, this has been a project that's been discussed for a long time, longer than I've been in Johnstown anyway, but it has now come to an end, and tonight we'll be looking at least one phase of it, be able to approve, and as part of a larger project. We can go ahead and bring our, looks like we have a representative if you guys would like to question them further.
Come on up.
Hi, Mike Reeves, engineer with Kimley Morgan Associates. I'm here to answer any questions, but I do appreciate the commission's efforts to go through a lot of this in detail with us last week.
Were there any questions from council for him for this? And this is just one phase of it.
Right.
The phase furthest west.
So there'd be, what did you say in the meeting? There'd be up to 4 phases, essentially?
Yeah, right now we have shown plan 4 phases. This is it's actually we titled phase 4 because of some of the environmental permits. We had to move to phase 4 first, and then we'll come back and do phase 3 later. So this is the farthest west.
And this is the area that will be coming up to, that will be on the bike trail headed over to Douglas Street.
Correct.
Okay.
I actually think we have a pre-con meeting set up for the 10th, 11 o'clock.
Yep.
Okay. Does, the council has no questions for him? Okay, thank you, sir. Any questions or comments from citizens? Okay. Do I hear a motion for this?
I'll go ahead and make the motion.
I'll second.
Brian Green.
Yes.
Nicole Shook.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I'm out of order.
Charlie?
Al Barsini.
Yes.
John Merriman.
Yes.
Mayor Barner.
Yes. Okay. And the last is Resolution 2023-20, a resolution to approve an agreement between the City of Johnstown and Schleybaugh Builders for Concord Crossing East. Mr. Green, this falls to you again.
Basically pretty standard. The city has gone ahead and went and discussed this, and approving it tonight will let them move forward.
So what the preamble of this was, the previous builder wanted to build, to take over this property and continue to build. The city had some concerns. The residents in that area had concerns. They brought that up to the builder. There was agreements made in zoning to move this forward. Those agreements are as part of this packet, and all parties have agreed to it. So far, parties agreed to it. It's up to council now to finalize it, so that it can be signed. So does anyone have any questions on any of the agreement part of this?
They don't have a representative here.
Yes, sir. You can come.
Hi, I've been asked by Schleybaugh Builders to be here to answer any questions as well based off of.
Yes, sir. Does council have any questions on any of these 10 items?
7, number 7.
Number 7.
Is that term, I just need to know if that is a indefinite term of 50 or if it can be extended. I don't know if you know the answer to that. Number 7 is Schleybaugh Builders will convey the city an option to purchase approximately 6.18 acres, more or less, depicted as Reserve A on the attached Exhibit B. Said option to purchase shall be for a term of 50 years. Is that a set in stone date, or can it be made longer? I figured you would know the answer to that one.
I don't, I mean, they have the option for 50, you have the option for 50
For
years.
50.
But I mean, I don't think anybody would be upset if that was extended longer, on Schleybaugh Builders' side. Ultimately gets turned over to the HOA and will be to whatever HOA it is, but the city would have that right, at least for 50 years. So if that's a language that wants to get changed, I'm not going to oppose it.
I think 50 years is plenty for this. I mean,
You won't be around.
yeah,
John-
none of us are going to be around for it.
John and I might.
Yeah, you and John.
We'll be right there where Louis at.
Are you okay leaving it at 50, or you want to see it?
See?
I mean,
Open mouth, insert foot once in a while. big
I would
boy.
assume that we would get it before 50 if we want it, but I always like to give the city the best option, that's why.
Are you looking for?
No,
100?
you get it.
For 100 on that?
99, 100,
Okay.
one or the other. Because you don't know, right? Like,
I wouldn't mind buying it for about.
I think something will happen within the next probably 10, 15 years with that.
Last time
So-
it was 20.
exactly.
Would Schleybaugh have a problem if we changed it to 99 years?
I will say no, they won't have a problem.
Okay.
It's
Would you like to amend it
yeah,
to 99?
To 99.
Okay, so we're amending 50 years to 99 years.
Thank you.
And I'm pretty sure the Schleybaugh will be dead too.
They might have lineage left.
They're gonna have, yeah, no problem with lineage. They'll be all
Okay.
right.
Okay, so any other questions, comments from council?
Nope.
Any questions or comments from citizens? Okay. I need a motion to move forward.
I'll make a motion with the 50 to 99.
I'll second.
Charlie Campbell.
Yes.
Nicole Shaw.
Yes.
Al Orsini.
Yes.
John Manson.
Yes.
Jeff Barnard.
Yes.
Ryan Green.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for being here. We have no introduction of legislation. Other business. I'm going to bring this up. You guys do what it is you want, but it is my responsibility to inform you of this. Compensation. The salaries of all council members shall be established by council by ordinance to be adopted no later than July of each odd-numbered years commencing in the year 1999. So, my thought is, I'm not going to ask for a raise for me or for council when we're asking for a tax increase and we're hurting on money, but it is council's right to be able to ask for a raise in odd-numbered years. So I'm giving you that right since it's July. It is an odd-number year, and that is your right.
I believe in light of everything that's happened recently, it's probably a bad idea to ask.
Thank you. You guys good with not asking? Go ahead.
So we could do nothing.
We could do nothing. We don't have to,
We don't have to
right.
Okay.
extend.
But as our charter's written, that this
We
is
just
the
have to
time that we have
discuss
to discuss it.
discussed.
So what this means is that if you voted to, or want to give yourself a raise, if you are on council right now, you would not receive that raise. It would only go into effect for those who were elected at the next point. So if we voted on that now, Ryan wouldn't get a raise for 2.5 more years. If everyone on this side of the table was reelected, you would get the raise in November, or starting in January.
That's almost worth it.
So I just wanted to explain it to you, make sure everyone knew. That is all I have for other business. Mr. Green?
No, that's usually the point where I'd ask Sean if there's anything cool coming to town, but here we are.
Anyone on the other side of the table? No? Hearing none. Do we have anything from citizens? Hearing none, I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.